Alright, we're working on the arms now, slash hands. And if you notice, you have the pattern in your Roly Puppet Pattern. And here's the fur that you're going to be using. You want to have the grain line going down the arm towards the hand. And when I say grain line, I mean the fur in the direction of the hands. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your fabric and fold it in half, making sure that the fur side is facing each other, or the outside of the fabric is facing each other. And what you're going to do is you're going to trace the first hand on there. Now, usually you would flip the pattern, but you don't need to do that with the hands. And just watch that you're not putting the hand in the opposite direction of the other hand, because the grain of the fur is pointing towards the hand on the one hand. If you do it the other, with the hand flipped, it'll be the opposite way, so you'll have the grain not in the right spot. So you'll need to put both hands in sort of the same direction. Now, a lot of people cut them out and then sew by hand. You could do that. I prefer a sewing machine, and if I'm using a sewing machine, I don't cut the arms out at all. I'll just sew the two pieces together, and I just follow the line, and basically making sure that the two hands are facing, or two hands are sewn, sorry. Now I sped this part up because it's long and drawn out, but you're basically going to cut along the sew line, making sure that you don't cut the sew line, and you just want to sort of basically cut out around the hands, not cutting the fingers out yet, going as close to that as possible. Now you're going to get another pair of scissors. Oh, I get a different pair of scissors, but you can use the same pair, I guess, and go closer into the actual fingers. Cut the fingers out, and you want to go not too close to the sew line. You just want to get just cut deep into the as far as you can go without cutting the sew line, basically. And then you're going to trim any of the excess that you have. I'm not speaking well right now, I don't know why. And for the fingers, of what you're going to be doing is cutting down to the fingers, and what I like to do is fold the finger back and then cut the rest off there, just so you get it clean in between. And there goes my iPod. This commentary has been riddled with good luck. So anyway, here we go. So you're basically going to be going in between the line, the fingers again, and fold the finger back and cut excess off. Just trimming a hair in there. Take your time, you're not in any rush. There, so now you have your hand cut out and sewn, except for the bottom. You don't sew the bottom, you leave that open, because the next step is you have to turn them inside out. So what I do is I get a piece of dowel that I usually use to make the rods for puppets, and I'll start from the bottom. You can start from the actual finger itself. I don't do that. I start from sort of just after the finger, the palm of the puppet, and basically you'll push that dowel very gently, but at the same time a little bit more controlled with force, down, up, through, back through the arm. Now it'll be a little difficult, as you can see. I'm having a little bit of problem. I'm trying to keep it in view. The easy part to that is just to put it between your legs and push down, and like you see here, you get the arm punching through. Now the fingers aren't punched through, so what you'll have to do is use a dowel, or you can use I like to use needle nose pliers taped at the bottom, and just punch through each individual finger. Now, because this is fur, you can't really see the hand being punched out until I trim it off. Now, if you notice on your hand that you have some fur sticking in the seams, you'll need to take all those out. with a pin or use a pair of scissors just to cut the excess out. Now I sped this part up, and basically it's just trimming of the hair. I start from the thumb and work my way around. I normally just trim the hands on sort of monster characters or animals, and just work from the thumb and, like I said, go in between the fingers. Everything's sort of poked out anyway from the seam, so just trim away. Make sure you're not trimming like chunks of fur out. Start just by a light trim and work your way down, because the last thing you want to do is actually go down to the bottom of the fabric if you're cutting fur to actually hit the bottom fabric piece. Now here's Polyfill. Basically you get at fabric stores, and I like to use needle nose pliers to fill the hands up, and basically I'll pinch them with the Polyfill and make my way and push it all the way down to the fingers or the thumb, and pack them in that way. You don't want to like pack them solid so that they're mega heavy. You're just gonna lightly pack it so that they're sort of full to the touch, and you can roll it in between your hands and do it that way. Now with the arms, you'll want to fill it up just halfway, and leave a little bit of space, and then fill up a little bit more with the rest of the way, and that'll leave a little bit of a space for an elbow so the arm will bend naturally. So there's one hand that's finished and one that's not. You can see the difference. And like I said, I'd like to just trim the hand part just so that you have overlap with the fur. It's coming off the body. That's just the look I like. So there's the hands. Next, we're going to attach the hands onto the body. So if you have any questions, email me at tom@thecreatureworks.ca.